Welcome! My name is Irina Furin and I'm certified by the American Council of Hypnotist Examiners as a hypnotherapist. Today I decided to make this video because I've been reading your Facebook comments and your introductions when you join my group, the Self-Hypnosis and Deep Meditation group. And I read your stories. I see the same pattern, the same picture come up again and again and again. But these different problems have the same roots, whether it is relationship problems, whether it's self-confidence, something with your children, or it is grief, etc. The root of these problems comes almost always from unmet needs, from a very deep lack, emotional lack. Now, that's why I decided to make this video, although I know that this group is about self-hypnosis and meditation techniques. And many of you write that you came here to learn a new meditation technique and that you have problems with meditating, difficulties in going deep, difficulties with relaxation, difficulties with letting go of yourself and just being at the present moment. Now, I know that you are looking for a new technique, for something that will give you this feeling of being in control and being able to relax, or even being able to connect to your higher self, to your wholeness. But it's not a coincidence that I'm talking about emotional needs, and I have started this series of videos about emotional needs, because what you need to learn is how to recognize your emotional needs. What are these emotional needs and how they are driving you? Because it is not the technique that you need. It's not the fault of the technique that you were using so far. Anytime you go deep and you try to relax, as you have written this in comments, you feel that there's a tension in you, or you hear these thoughts in your head, or you have that emotional something that doesn't let you just be in that moment. And you know what happens at that level of relaxation? As you close your eyes and start to relax, you open your subconscious, and your subconscious is stuffed with lacking feelings, with those needs that are banging on your door to be heard, to finally be met. And that's when you start relaxing using another meditation technique, listening to music, whatever you are using. But this is the point when your conscious, how should I put it, this conscious suppressing power opens up, and suddenly these thoughts, these anxieties, these tensions, these things start coming up, bubbling up, and they fill your head. So the problem is not the meditation technique, and the problem is not that you can't learn it. The problem is that you haven't really recognized and met your emotional needs. Emotional needs are energies, and they are energies in form of lacking. They are vital for survival. Mostly we think of needs as physical needs, and we think they are simple. We need to eat, drink, sleep, etc. And it can be done like just charging a mobile phone. But it's not that simple, because we have forgotten how to meet our physical needs. This is the first step. Many of you might raise your brows. What does this mean that I have forgotten my physical needs? This is the point where we no longer connect to our physical body, in a sense that we no longer pay attention to the real needs of the body, the real signs. We feel something and we stuff it with food. We feel something and we drink just to let go of the tension. So we no longer have that intimate connection to our own selves, to our body, first of all, that tells us that at this moment what I need is water. Don't stuff me with sweets, because what I need is water. Or don't stuff me with food when I need rest. Yes, I'm on a low energy level at the moment, but what I need is not food, because it just further increases this burden on me. What I need is quality rest. Maybe it is a rest from the everyday life, from the monotony. So we need to be able to recognize our physical needs first and to be honest about them. Most of us are not honest about our physical needs as well. So what can I say about emotional needs? When it comes to emotional needs, many of you ask, how do I know what needs I have? How do I know if I have some emotional needs that are unmet, and what can I do with them? You see, your emotional needs are suppressed when you no longer know that they exist. Maybe you feel that something is not right. Maybe you're feeling some kind of tension, but you don't know where it comes from, or why does it come up now? Why do I want to cry even though there's nothing going on? And that's the point when you have lost your connection with your, let's call it, emotional body, the same way as you lose connection with your physical body. So at that moment you feel some kind of a tension. Tension is a sure sign of emotional needs unmet. So when you feel tension, what can you do? How can you tell which of your emotional needs is not met? Well, your body has it all. It has all the answers, because we store these lacking feelings in our body. For example, if you learn to listen to your body, it will tell you that tension in your shoulders, that kind of pain, that heaviness, is a burden that you are carrying along with you for, say, decades. And that's something you're carrying along without letting it go. Or that ache in your stomach, that's a fear. That's a fear that you have just suppressed, swallowed, and stored within you, that's eating you up. Or that heaviness in your legs, for example. It can be a fear of stepping forward, of making a decision, perhaps because you're afraid of the consequences and you're trying to hold yourself back. Or that migraine, that bang in your head, maybe that's a sign of a fear of yourself, of facing your real needs, of facing your true self, your true emotions, because it needs courage, it can be painful. It can require from you that you go against, for example, your family, the community you live in, or the society. Because, many people don't really don't really want us to recognize and accept our needs. Why? Because they don't accept our needs. It goes against their own agenda. It goes against their own interests. So it can be people who are close to us. It can be our family members who will think they love us, and they also feel that they have a loving, affectionate relationship with us. But still, they can't accept our needs. They can't accept us. Maybe we are just feeling or thinking that they won't be able to accept our true self. But anyway, this can create a tension. Now, I know it sounds harsh because it is very difficult to go against those habits and those dynamics that are already there in a family or in a relationship. And it doesn't mean that those people are bad. They are lacking themselves. When other people can't accept your needs, your feelings, can't accept that you have the right to have the feelings that you have, and it is your right from the beginning, then that means that they are lacking, and they create a sort of dynamic. Together you combine your lacking feelings, your needs, in an unhealthy way, in a dynamic that doesn't allow you, both of you or all of you, to be your true selves, because you start playing different roles. Now, this is the answer to your question: why can't we meet our emotional needs? It is because, first, we can't accept them. Somehow we feel that they are shameful, they are not spiritual, they are somehow not okay. Maybe we were conditioned not to accept our needs, our true feelings, anything that comes up. So it can be our own resistance that detaches those parts of us that have those feelings. And this is a very peculiar thing. There are spiritual people, or so people who are focused spiritually on spiritual growth, and several of them have a feeling that they no longer have emotions. They are sort of free of emotions. And the problem is that in the case of many of such people, they managed to cut off some pieces of themselves, or some parts of their personality that had negative feelings. Because in their belief system, negative feelings like anger, like envy, jealousy, or fear, those were such negative, unspiritual feelings that they needed to get rid of them. And what happens in our psyche? What happens in our psyche when we try to get rid of certain feelings that are painful, that are shameful, or that we can't accept for various reasons? Now, our personality will detach those parts that feel those feelings, that have those needs. It will seem as if they no longer belong to us. We no longer have those feelings. For example, it can be after a devastating relationship that someone realizes that I don't need those feelings. I never want to feel vulnerable anymore. They detach that part of themselves which feels weak, which feels that need to belong to somebody, which craves for attention, for intimacy, for love. So they no longer accept that part of the self. And that part will still exist, of course, but in the subconscious. It will be pressed down, suppressed into the subconscious mind. So these people will identify with this strong self, with this independent self, which doesn't need anyone else to be happy. Their relationships will be lacking one thing, that intimacy, that trust, that vulnerability, which is needed if two people really want to connect on a very deep emotional level. So this is again just an example of us not accepting our own needs. Another reason for not recognizing our needs and not meeting our needs is that we were taught not to do that, because our family, our father, mother, whoever, didn't accept our emotional needs when we were small. Maybe they are still not accepting it, or perhaps our partner, our husband, doesn't accept some of our needs. They feel that it is shameful, or maybe it goes against their interests. For example, there can be parents who teach their children not to accept the feeling of weakness, of vulnerability. They are not allowed to cry, or they are punished if they show any signs of weakness. So the child simply separates itself from that self which feels weak and powerless and helpless. And the child will only accept those parts of the self which feel powerful and strong and which correspond with that image that their parents wanted to see in them. And the third reason for not being able to meet our needs or to accept our needs is that because of our belief systems. We may have the belief that our reality, our world, is unable to meet our needs. It is simply written in our fate that our needs will never be met, because it is just the law of physics or whatever. As soon as we have these beliefs, we will no longer have the freedom or the hope to feel these needs. This is when we become hopeless. We can, of course, in these cases, suppress these needs just as we usually do. But very often with this loss of hope comes depression. Depression is a state where we no longer have a connection to that hope, to that power within us, which is capable of meeting our needs. Okay, then let's see an example of how these needs are affecting us. You most probably have seen in these groups lots and lots of people who write that, please send me prayers, I'm going through a very hard time, or through a divorce. Oh, please send me love or send me hugs because I feel this and that. These people are reaching out to others because they have a very strong emotional lacking. They lack attention and they lack intimacy. So what happens when a person like that is lacking that connection, that attention with other people, so that they reach out through Facebook, for example, and ask others to meet that need. Hey, pay attention to me because I'm in pain, help me. Of course, people will respond to them. They will get lots of hearts and hugs and everything else. And for a second, they will even fool themselves that this was something significant, as if their need was partly met. But you know, the subconscious knows no lies. It can't lie, it sees the truth. And the result will be an emptiness. It will only feed that lack, that emptiness within, because all these comments will only reflect on the real lack, that all this is just the surface and that they are alone. There is nobody who would feel this need in a real and significant way. So what happens if a person like that who is truly lacking, and this lack can become such a pain, unbearable pain, that these people, and we are talking about us, about all of us, that we feel that pain and we are ready to do everything just to get rid of it. Now, suppose this person finds someone, and mostly what they are finding is someone who has a need, of course, and these needs just connect. So what if this person finds someone who pays attention and truly gives his energy or her energy? It will be a fantastic feeling. Finally, someone understands me, someone listens to me. Finally, I feel significant. I feel alive again, because this is when we connect to this feeling of being alive. But after a time, this lack, this need for attention will drain our partner, because we will just it will never be enough. It will be like a bottomless pit, and we will need more and more and more. So what happens? The partner will be unable to sustain our need for this energy. They will distance themselves from us, because it is a natural reaction, a self-preservation instinct that will kick in, and the craving will be stronger. Why? Because this is a point where we need to realize that this craving for attention, this craving for being loved, comes from a lack, but not simply the lack of connection with someone else. This is a lack of connecting to our own selves. This is when we are unable to give ourselves the attention, that true living attention, that almost palpable attention to ourselves. That's why we want to get it from someone else. And the same goes for love. This is when we are craving for love, and always from the outside. And no love in this world will ever be enough, because we have lost our connection to the part of us which accepts us unconditionally and which loves us. So we no longer embrace ourselves in that loving embrace, in that full acceptance. That's why we want to get that, to meet that need from others. And as you see, this will corrupt any relationship. It will be not sustainable. Now, if this craving person who craves for love, for attention, because they are unable to connect to themselves and give this love and attention to themselves, they might pull in a manipulative person who will seemingly give them this attention, this love. This technique is called love bombing, when the manipulative party starts to give this overwhelming love, affection and attention to the person, and this person just gets hooked on it. They will simply become dependent, like junkies, on that attention and on that tremendous amount of love. Of course, it is not genuine and not real love. It is just a means of manipulation. And when that love and attention will be deprived, they will panic. They will do everything, and it is really a very strong manipulative technique. They will do everything just to please this person, to give them that nourishment, those tiny pieces of love. This is a means of control. We can go, of course, deeper than that. Why do these people control others? But the main point is that whatever you are looking for, it is a need within you. It is not really a technique. It is a need. And it is not so difficult to find out what that need is. All you need to do is start paying attention to yourself. Start with your body, because that's the first level where we have already lost connection to ourselves. Start with your body. Start asking your body what is it that it needs. And you will find out that the answers your body gives are completely different from what you supposed. It's not food what it needs, mostly. It is very often just relaxation, rest, or just water, or simply attention, exercise, energies. We think that what we need are physical, material things, and we forget that our body is actually an energy gestalt. It is made of energy, so it needs energy. When we sleep, we fill it up with energy. When we go out for a walk, when we are in the sunshine, when we are swimming in the sea, these are things that fill us up with energy, fill the body up with energy. They change the frequency, the wavelength of our body. And the same goes for emotions. Ask ourselves, what is it that I feel in my chest, for example, or in my shoulder? What is that feeling that I'm storing there? What does it want from me? Start talking to your body, to the pain that you are storing in your body, to the tension that you have in your muscles. Start talking to yourself in this way, to the parts of yourself which feel that pain, feel powerless, feel anything that they feel. And one very important point is that you need to be very open. You have to accept whatever comes up, because as soon as you start to detach yourself, or you start to fight against anything you feel, whether it is physical, emotional, whether it is a thought or belief, as soon as you start to fight with yourself, you're losing the game. So that's in a short video. Okay, I wanted to make a short video, but yeah, it's not so short. Anyway, this is what I wanted to tell you first and foremost is that what you are looking for is you. Actually, it is you. It is your emotional needs. It is your energetic needs, your physical needs. And meditation is simply a way to get that. Now, these self-hypnosis techniques that I'm going to teach you and that I have already uploaded, they help you. They are the tools. But you need to understand yourself first to be able to use these tools. Okay? So I think that's all for now. I have talked a lot. And I like to keep these videos short. But anyway, it was important, I feel. And if you have questions, ask. And I hope you like this video.